The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Hike up your motherfucking panties.
And pull them to the side.
This is the Harper.
Fuck you. No bullshit.
Welcome to the Harper, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. This is Jake, as with me, always my sidekick, Adam.
That's right.
Coming at you. This show 40? 39?
Oh, this is 4-0, my
this
brother.
This is 40. Bam. Blowing it up.
Okay, did I hurt you? I didn't hurt you, did I?
Actually, a smidgen, but I'm going to be all right. So welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. Do you have a public service announcement to begin the evening?
Well, first off, how you doing, Jake?
I'm ready for this fucking show.
Yeah?
Like, I hate the break that we have in between, so
Did it not seem a little bit longer? Maybe it was because it was an extra week.
It was an extra week, but I need some Harper therapy right now. I can't even Harper therapy.
Harper.
Right? Harper therapy.
Don't be afraid to stretch that
I
out.
don't even know how to say the word therapy correctly with a Boston accent.
It's all right. So, yeah, I'm going to do a little public service announcement. Everybody out there in podcast land, check us out. Check out our videos, mind you, at YouTube. Just go out to YouTube, search the Harper. We're going to be in the top 5 results, finally, at least. Hopefully, like the top 3.
Heck yeah.
Subscribe. Please comment. I've been asking for comments for weeks.
Yeah.
I think our last video didn't get many views. View that. View this one. Also, visit us at our main website, theharperguys.com. From there, it's a one-stop shop for anything you want.
Sure is.
Follow and subscribe there. Most people don't realize that, but it's Podbean is hosting that.
Yeah.
And you can follow and subscribe, and just lets us know that you're there.
Absolutely.
You know.
And if you're going to listen to us on a platform, go ahead and give us a rating. Even if it sucks, leave us a reason that it sucks so that we can see it. But if you think we're doing an all right job for you, you know you're enjoying some of our content, maybe it's a little funny, maybe it makes you shake your head a little bit, let us know. Let's get some reviewing out there.
Maybe it made you just turn it off.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let us fucking know.
We're all right with that.
So you go to our main website, you can get everything one-stop shop. There this is what you can get there. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio.
Perfect.
Those are all of our platforms. We also have Twitter link, Facebook link, and the IG.
IG.
Not the OG.
IG.
The IG.
IG's up, hoes back.
And I lastly, thank you again, Mystery Man Ethan Mixel, for your demilitarized zone. It's a badass fucking song.
We can't find you,
but you disappeared.
He put it on the free music list. We were looking for something that had some kick. Adam's like, boom, you got to listen to this. So I gave it a listen. I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's what we are. Like, let's do this. And we've tried to hunt him down, tried to give him a little bit of love for the great work that he's done. And he went Ted Kaczynski on us, man. Like, I don't really know. He's in a cabin in Montana or something, someplace.
I don't know, but
maybe he's on the road, actually playing in a real band, and we don't even know it.
Maybe
we should Google Ethan Mixel at some point and kind of see if he's into anything.
Maybe he joined a different band, and he's like you said, because he's got the talent, that's for sure.
Or maybe we should just let the man stay behind the curtain and appreciate the work that he did.
We will never mention him again.
Yeah, but you know who we are going to mention tonight?
Who's that?
Somebody that's near and dear to my heart.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
So, for everybody out there, you're going to go one of two ways right now. You're either going to have an eagle on your shoulder,
a little click, or a little bit turn it up,
wanting to wave Old Glory around a little bit, throw a little fuck you to the man. What we got going on back here? We're going to talk about what Donald J. Trump is getting right. Because
why is he doing so well?
I mean, I have a whole list of shit that he is doing well. If the answer to why is quite simple, because he's got an agenda of getting shit done.
Boom.
I mean, I know that there are people that don't like the things that he is getting done. At the end of the day, I don't think that anybody can dispute the fact that he is getting things done one way or another.
I've been watching because of this topic, I've been watching a lot of. I mean, you don't never know what to believe. I mean, it's hard to know what to believe.
Sure.
But you hear a lot of things about. At least right now, I'm hearing a lot of things that how racist the Democrats are, and how, which I don't believe that as a general statement. Maybe there are some agendas that are being, pushed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to claim any of what I just stated from the Democrats as being true, but
You can claim whatever you want.
well,
man.
I can't because I don't know. There's no. I hear somebody talking, and okay, I don't know. I don't know if the leaders of the Democratic Party are racist or not.
I mean, before we dive all the way into Donald J. Trump, I mean, if you want to look at that just as a microcosm, both sides are calling each other racist all the time.
Right.
All I know is that there's a ton of pictures out there of Donald Trump winning all kinds of awards for the amount of work that he's done with minorities. I know that African American joblessness is at the lowest point that it's ever been. The number of African Americans that are going to college is the highest that it's ever been. African American home ownership is the highest that it's ever been. People are thriving, and rightfully so. I mean, this shouldn't even be a measuring stick anymore. But the fact that he recognized that there was some social inequity that was going on. So I don't know how anybody can say that he is a racist. I would love an example. You want to shoot me an email? That would be the one to send. I don't care if you send me one telling me I'm great. I really want one to tell me why I'm wrong. Because when I feel like I'm this right, I feel like I need somebody to tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at on that. So don't call him a fucking racist unless you can send me an email and say why. And if you don't have the time or the energy to do that, then shut your fucking mouth.
Uh-oh. Well, I just think it's funny. Now, just so everybody's clear, I voted for Donald Trump. I like his average, I shouldn't say average Joe, but everyday Joe appeal to where he just feels, yeah, okay, he's a billionaire, millionaire, whichever category he fits in. But still, I believe I could actually walk up to him and have a normal conversation like I do with Jake.
Sure.
On the daily. That's why when I say average Joe, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like he relates. Maybe he doesn't, but that's what I think a lot of people feel.
Whether you can say that you relate to him or not, again,
Okay,
fairly or unfairly,
how about this?
he's a relatable human being because he's not a groomed politician.
How about you? Okay, that's a good point.
Thank you.
But how about this? At least as far as our nation and as far as the government, I think we're very relatable with Donald Trump because, like you said, he's not a politician. He's not making his money from government.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the government doesn't fucking like him for the most part.
Yeah. He's making nothing.
Right.
$0. It's giving it all away. He doesn't get a salary from the United States government.
Right.
So anybody that wants to talk about that part. I mean, if you want to get into that again, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole of cross aisle politics, but how does Nancy Pelosi make $200,000 a year for 30 years and she's worth $150 million? Somebody would like to chime in on that and give me some education.
That doesn't compute.
I can't find that she's a real estate mogul or that she was in her 20s before she got into Congress or anything like that. So again, I would love to be illuminated as to exactly what's going on with that.
Right.
So how about you give me some for instances that you have of why you think President Trump is doing a good job?
Well, I mean, I'm not a details guy, but I do want to chip away at one point.
Okay.
That I think people that don't like Donald Trump and have spent the last 3 years trying to get him out of office. Sorry. I mean, we've heard that from the get-go. We've heard words of like being impeached and all this other. To me, is bullshit. I mean, for one, you can't be calling for impeachment in the first 6 months. The reason you would impeach somebody, now I know what the majority would say is, well, it's because he cheated his way into the office.
Collusion.
Right, collusion. But what I'm going to say is you would have to have a reason of, okay, let's let the guy try to do his job. Let's give him a chance to breathe, let him do his job. And then at that point, after the first 2 years, okay, let's take a peek. Obviously, you can't get a whole lot done in 2 years.
Sure.
But you can.
You'd be surprised at the list that we came up with.
Well, but at that point, after the 2 years, then you say, okay, should this man be impeached? Or if you even want to consider that.
Yeah.
But what I think is funny, and it does, I really do think this is funny.
Let's see if there's something I can cross off my list.
Yeah. Is why they're still trying to find reasons that he shouldn't be president 3 years later. Like, I mean, win the election being president.
No, I get it.
In one hot minute, people, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be 2020. 4 years have almost gone by.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to get him out of office for the candidacy.
I know.
For just winning it.
Well, the greatest part of that whole thing is that, so the report says that there's no collusion, but now it looks like there's some collusion on the other side, and everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
We didn't
what
mean
do
to
you
push
mean?
it. We didn't mean to push it that far.
What are you talking about? How could it be us? How could there be proof that we were actually spying on him? I mean, I don't know if anybody wants to take a little trip down history lesson lane and realize that the last time somebody got caught doing shit like that, Nixon became the only president to fucking resign. So,
Speaking about impeachment.
not impeachment, he resigned because he
Well.
would have gotten impeached,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Only impeached president was Andrew Johnson, right? I believe.
Yep.
I'd have to look it up. Anyway, here's a few things that most of them you probably know. Maybe one or two of them you don't. Jobs. The greatest job creation in the history of this country. The lowest unemployment numbers since unemployment became a thing. Since it became a trackable number, this is the lowest unemployment that this country's ever had. That includes people that don't want to be employed.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
So we're 3% right now, 3.2%. Somebody's probably screaming at me right now. It's 3.6. I don't know what that fucking number is.
Fuck
What I'm telling
off.
you is that I'm close, right?
Right.
And that includes, there might be 2% of the population that doesn't want to work because they're stay-at-homes or they have another reason that they don't have to. They're trust fund babies. They decide not to work. That's fine, but they count in that number.
Right.
So you're talking the total number of eligible working class Americans. You're talking 18 to 62. That's what it is. I'm sorry. Like, there's no president that can hang his hat on that. So he's got that one for sure. I mean,
Amen. Amen that the people are actually fucking working. Like you said, even a lot of the ones that don't want to work.
yeah.
What does that mean? That the pot has just been sweetened enough that they're like, okay, fuck it.
No, what it is that he's gone in and he's changed the rules. He's changed the rules on trade to where we got on a NAFTA. We've gotten out of all of these terrible fucking trade deals.
How about that? He's
So-
actually doing something with China.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of just laying back and taking it like everybody else has, because China's such a massive market, and all of these people are actually business people that have friends and themselves that are involved in these markets. Instead of doing that, he takes a step back and says, you know what? Go fuck yourself because you're fucking the American people.
Now, I
and
know
that's
there's-
why those of us that love him love him.
Now I know there's some people right now screaming at the monitor at our podcast saying he dealt with China as a businessman. You know what, motherfuckers? Of course he did.
Sure.
Because that's what our government allowed him to do.
Yes.
Donald Trump is a businessman before he was president. So if the government is gonna make these giant loopholes that he can take his product and get it back cheaper,
Yeah.
everybody's going to do it. Now that he's president, he wants to change that so that the American economy can get boosted by American sales.
Sure. What did Herm Edwards say? You play to win the game, right? That's what you're there for, is to win. As long as he's working within the frame rules of the game, who gives a shit?
Boom.
Change the rules if you don't like them. One of the things that I feel like a lot of the country might not quite understand is the Rust Belt recovery that he has been huge in. One of the biggest
Enlighten me.
One of the biggest reasons that he won the presidency was because he won the Rust Belt. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Iowa, all of these industrial states that are centralized in the country that were getting destroyed by stuff that was going overseas. It becomes so expensive to get stuff done here. So all of this work is going overseas. You have all of the coal production being shut down because of the environmentalists of the world. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm just calling a truth what a truth is. The cheap amount of money that we're able to buy foreign steel for before we got to the point that we changed those laws. When it came to foreign oil, same situation. We were able to get it cheaper abroad, so we were actually sending out oil and getting it at the same time. Does that make any fucking sense at all?
No.
That's dumb as fuck.
Jesus.
So he's come in, and this is what he's done. He's helped revitalize these areas. He
Right.
wants manufacturing back here. He's creating trade laws and agreements that are based on getting good, hardworking Americans the jobs that they want and deserve.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why do you think, okay, it's an obvious answer, money, but why do you think that so many of these motherfuckers in government and legislation pass this bullshit that basically shoots our country in the foot over the long haul.
Like I just said, so many of them are either involved, their family-wise, in businesses. I mean, you want to go through and look at how many of these are businessmen and lawyers? It's fucking all of them. That's basically what they are all made up of. You have a few farmers. You have a guy named Jim Jordan that is a rep from Ohio. He's a farmer. He comes from now, don't get me wrong, the Jordan farm, it ain't 40 acres of Mayberry. It's a giant-ass farm. Let's be honest, right? But most of the people, that's what they're involved in. To where these trades are benefiting different people. It's the 1% rule. Everything was being generated to benefit the 1% and nothing for the working class. That's why it got to the point that it got to.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Have you seen the protests in China about them tearing down the Great Wall of China?
I have not.
Me neither. Isn't that fucking weird? You know what the wall was built for?
The Great Wall?
Yeah.
It was a military strategy, wasn't it?
For?
Or keep the Mongolians out?
I believe it was the Mongols. Probably wrong. I'll get my geography wrong on that. But yeah,
I think it was.
to keep these fuckers out.
I don't know a fucking lot, but I think that's what it was.
Yeah, there's walls all over the world. So one of the next thing on my list is the way that he's handling the immigration problem that we have. Anybody that doesn't think that this is a crisis isn't fucking paying attention.
Right here.
That's right. Because our tax dollars are going towards these people that are undocumented. And we've talked about this before on the show, and this isn't any type of backtracking on what we think or to be playing in the middle of the road. I am all for immigration. I would not be here today if immigration laws were not in place.
But what's the key fact? Do it
Legal.
fucking legally, not illegally, legally.
Yes. It's insane what people want to let go. And all that I can see that it comes down to, like you just said, is money. So if we kick all the undocumented workers out, what do we have? People that have to pay more money to their workers, right? That can't get cheap undocumented labor that they're paying under the table.
Workers that have to pay taxes like the fucking rest of us.
Right, pay into the Social Security that they're never going to be able to recover. I mean, those are the things that drive me fucking crazy. So anybody that stood opposed to this wall, it's really not an opposition to the wall. You can say, that's not what America should stand for. You know what? If you were there and you were alive on this planet and you were cognizant in 2001 and you saw those two planes hit that fucking building, do not tell me that you didn't feel vulnerable. Why not stop a fucking preemptive attack? Why not take some precautions? Are you going to keep it all out? No. You're never going to fucking keep it all out. But why not take precautions like he is doing? Tighten up our borders. Lower the amount of money that we're wasting to make sure that these people have health care and shit like that. And make sure that we have proper security, that we're properly vetting the people that are coming in, that we have safer borders. We're
Exactly.
open. We're down with open borders. Let's open the borders. But like you said, to legal people, that should be here. If you have a DUI, you know what? You can't get into fucking Canada. So I want to see a rally up there for all of the people that want to go to Canada that are from the United States that have a DUI. So Democrats, how about you get the anti-DUI ban rally together? Oh, why? Because they don't want fucking delinquents in their country. And I'm not saying that every person is a delinquent. Somebody's going to take that soundbite and run with it. I'm fucking sure it is. That's okay. They can fucking lick my nuts when it comes down to that. That's all I'm saying.
You want to lick his nuts?
Well, you can if you fucking disagree with me on that. I mean, just saying, this is a hot button topic for me, and it drives me absolutely fucking crazy. We have one news outlet that acts like the sun rises and shines on Donald Trump's ass. They're wrong, too. He's a human being like you and I are. That's why we voted for him. And you have 4 other networks that shit on him every fucking chance that they get. That's not America.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and 8 Mile this thing and say, the guy doesn't always say the right things. The guy says stupid fucking things once in a while, tweets stupid stuff. For the one, I don't think the president should even be on Twitter.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's in a whole nother topic. But that's beyond the point. Look at his accomplishments instead of the stupid things he says at times. Whether he's not as well spoken as you would like him to be, I mean, George W. Bush.
Yeah.
I mean,
but there's so many things that people won't pay attention to because they just have dug their heels in on him. Have you heard of the right to try law? Most people have never even heard that this thing exists.
Right to try?
Right to try law.
No.
So the way that this works is if there is a medication for, let's say, Alzheimer's, and it has gotten good results so far, they've gone through a lab testing procedure that has been set up. If it goes through and it passes on rats, whatever animal they want to use it on, hasn't cleared the FDA yet, you have the ability now to get involved in those trials.
Really?
Yes, because why should you have to wait to go through the red tape if it gives you a chance to live? That was the entire basis of it. So now you can get online, you can find any of these tests and studies that are going on, and because of this law, they've opened up almost 6,000 studies that lead from all kinds of different types of cancer, AIDS, herpes, anything that you can think of. I mean, the list was insane. I can't even read the entire list of all the different things that these had to do. I mean, things like lupus, Crohn's. I mean, these are diseases that touch every family. Parkinson's, all of the time, to where there might be 6 different studies that are going on.
Right.
You look and see which ones, and you can apply and try to get into them, to where they're going to have more people. Used to have the thought, because the government controlled everything, that you can't test on people,
Right.
because they were going to be forced to. But what they're saying now is you have a choice. If you want to go in and get a testing procedure done on you, you can. How can that be a bad thing? How the fuck did it take till now to do this?
I don't know.
I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you. I have a sister that died from leukemia, and she didn't actually die from the leukemia. She died from the leukemia treatment. There's so many different treatments out there now that I wish she would have had another option. And I'm not trying to pour mouth it. All I'm trying to say is it's got to be relatable. And there's a million things about these that are relatable to everybody.
I agree, 100%.
So I believe that right to try is a huge thing. Do you know, is our CIA director a man or a woman?
I have no idea.
I kind of baited you on it to kind of lead you to the answer.
I'd say a man.
No.
It's probably not, though.
No. It's a woman. And she's the first one in history to do it.
What did she do?
She was great at her job, and she advanced to it.
She's the first one that great at her job?
No. Not the first one great at her job, but she's just great at her job, so she had the ability to move up. I mean, how can you be upset about that? More women are CEOs now than at any other point in history. There's more laws that are in place now to keep this going. He has signed 4 different presidential declarations that have to do with making sure that women have all of the opportunities that men have.
Nice.
Now, we can go back and forth about gender equality all day long. At the end of the day, he's saying, hey, I see something here where there's an inequality. Let's fix it. The same way that he's done with minorities. So how can you be mad at him about that now?
I don't know.
The guy said that he grabbed a pussy. Guess what? I can tell you honestly, folks, I have grabbed a pussy. Maybe one I was allowed to, and maybe not because I was famous, but I've done it. It's the fact that he used that word that everyone was like, what? Are you kidding me?
Can you believe him?
Right?
Wow.
I mean, could you imagine if Monica Lewinsky was associated with Trump in the same way she was associated with Clinton? This presidency would be over.
It would be.
It's like that. To where we're back to the double standard of stuff. Something that he said back in the fucking 80s that has no bearing on whether or not... I would hate for everything I've ever said in my young 20s to be put on a billboard for the world to see because of the stupidity that I carried around back then.
Fucked up.
Yeah, fucking stupid.
So give me something else.
Did you know, under Donald J. Trump, for the first time since the Industrial Revolution, the United States is oil independent?
Completely?
We actually send out more oil than we bring in now. If we stopped receiving oil, we would be 100% oil independent.
Is that why Iran's all fucking pissed right now?
Well, that's another thing if you want to get into it.
Let's get into it.
Our former president, and I will respect him as a president, Barack Obama, bent over, spelled run, and signed the stupidest fucking deal in the history of history with Iran.
I'm sure he got a little kickback on that.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't. There's no way he would have gotten a kickback
Jesus
on that.
fucking Christ.
But long story short...
Barack Obamacare.
Yeah. Long story short, all of a sudden, because Trump says, no, we're going to get rid of that fucking deal. No more Iran oil. As a matter of fact, no more Iran oil fucking period. We're placing fucking embargoes on you. You know what's happening? That fucking country is struggling. And do I wish that on their people? No. I wish it on their people, though, to make the change. We had a couple fucking thousand colonists that 200 years ago decided that enough was enough. It was time for a fucking change. I hope that they do the same at some point and they take their fucking country back. But Donald J. Trump is not going to let us be a fucking victim to Iran anymore.
So we are 100%
independent
oil independent.
How great is that?
That's worth a fist bump.
Right? But what about the seals? When was the last time you heard about a seal being covered in fucking oil? Don't you think that would be all over the fucking news?
Holy shit, because they're not transporting it?
What? It's not on giant boats going from port to fucking port? So weird.
Wow.
He's an asshole. Why would he ever do that? And you know what? I'm going to say this. There's a term that I hate. This fucking... and it's toxic masculinity. We've talked about it on the show a little bit about how everybody bitches and complains and like loves to throw this fucking term around. Explain to me how masculinity and being a grown man and being an adult male is fucking toxic. Oh, you mean having the testicular fortitude to sit down with your enemies or with your perceived enemies like Putin and Kim Jong-un?
That guy for sure.
Tell me all about the meetings that that Obama had with those guys. It's cool. I'll wait. Right? Because it didn't happen. So, wow, he was man enough to sit down and open lines of communication with people that we have been on the brink of war with. I mean, we've been scared of war with North Korea. People forget. It's amazing how fast you forget. Before he became president, we spent 5 years fucking going back and forth. Them shooting down our fucking drones, us shooting down their fucking drones. Everybody fucking worried about the tests. They're watching these parades of all his big fucking missiles rolling down the fucking street. Oh no, we're going to end up in fucking nuclear war with fucking North Korea. Let the man go in and have a sit down. They come out of it. They both have complimentary things to say about each other. Am I kissing Kim Jong-un's ass?
It's showtime.
No. Are we changing who the leader is right now in North Korea? No. So is it in our best interest to not want to go to war with somebody?
Yes.
I mean, it'd be fucking nice to not have to be the world's police for 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm hijacking this portion of the episode.
You know what?
This is something
I pretty much came up with this topic for you, my man.
I appreciate it. I guess you knew that I needed this today.
I did.
Of all days. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
I watch the news fairly regularly. I'm sure that you catch the things that are going on that are big deals in the world for the most part.
Well, sometimes.
Well, even if you don't, can you remember the last time you heard anything about an ISIS attack?
I really can't.
No, you can't, because they won't publicize it on TV. Donald Trump is smart enough to say, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what my military's doing. Why the fuck would I tell you that? But at the same time, go ahead.
It's the same thing I've been talking about, the active shooter bullshit.
Yes.
Don't publicize it. You know what? Report it. A shooting happened in wherever. Pueblo, Colorado, whatever the fuck.
Pueblo.
It happened. Don't give any fucking details, because that's what those motherfuckers want. They want their 15 minutes of fame.
Yep.
Report that it happened. You can show families mourning, but don't tell details and all that bullshit that gets those people a hard on.
I couldn't agree more. It's fucking ridiculous. They shouldn't be handing that shit out. Sometimes information doesn't need to be fucking doled out. We are in the information age where everybody thinks that they have a right to know everything. Motherfucker, you don't.
I mean, we've talked about this before, and it goes back to the simple thing. I watch a lot of sports. Don't watch a lot of news, watch a lot of sports.
Yeah.
They won't even show a motherfucker running on a baseball field because they don't want people to keep doing it.
Right. They've pan away.
They just show the players and the players laughing.
Right. And they do it all the time.
They do it all the time, but they do it a lot less because they know they're not going to.
But it's the fucked assness of the media. See, the NFL and MLB and stuff like that, they kind of regulated that by sitting down with the companies that they have contracts with, saying, hey, this is the expectation right now. You know what else they did? I don't know if you noticed it a whole lot last year. How many national anthems did you see pregame with people kneeling?
Well, they didn't show the national anthem as much.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Where do you think that directive came from?
Goodell.
Yeah. So where has that gone? To a Nike ad with Colin Kaepernick, where he got $2.6 million or whatever it was, and where the fuck's that guy right now?
I mean,
going down a rabbit hole. This is what we do, though. You get stuck down a rabbit hole. And shit
I'm
like
just
this.
saying, the MLB figured this out a while ago they didn't want to fucking,
Yeah.
give these people their 15 or 5 minutes of fame.
Yep.
So
the last one that I have is something that people might be like, this is fucking ridiculous, but I don't care.
I'm never listening to these fucking douchebags again.
Right?
Fuck you.
I don't know if you remember the entire Brett Kavanaugh hearings.
A little bit. I actually did pay attention to some of that.
Yeah, the guy drank some beer in college. That's weird. He's probably in the minority of college students that have drank beer, I would have to guess. I mean,
wow.
Deplorable humans. He drank some beer. There were times he would drink too much beer. Again, not our American children. My American child would never do that.
I'm sure no one listening to this show right now can relate.
I can't relate looking at my Yeti right now. But
while you're at it here.
Yeah. As it went on, the story that was being told by his accuser fell apart into mush. The whole country's like, oh my God, I can't believe we would nominate a guy that would do this. Donald Trump never wavered one time. And you know why? Because he properly vetted this guy. He knew what the background was. He knew that there was an accusation out there that had no basis, and he stood beside him the entire fucking way. When there were Republicans that were fucking like,
and why did he? Because Donald Trump has been through shit like this before.
Right.
Doesn't scare him.
And that's the last thing I have, is that he's unflappable.
Unflappable.
You can throw anything you fucking want to at this guy, and he's prepared for it. And you know, the biggest thing about it is, the question that I would ask everybody is, if you were a multi-billionaire, and you could do anything you want in the entire world, would you give that up for a life of civil service where you are ridiculed 24 hours a day? I mean, do you think that there's an ego that exists that could have that and feel like they need the power of this?
I'm going to say no, because it was even brought up to him before he decided to run. They went back and found old footage of him, and he said...
On Oprah.
And they said to him, Oprah said to him, they were in a conversation, he says, well, if it ever gets that bad, what will you do? I'll run for president.
He gave the question, it was actually not to contradict you, but just to make the right context. She said, would you ever run for president? He said, only if things get really, really bad.
Really, really bad.
So, and I'll tell you what, I don't know what the worst thing we've had happen under him is. I mean, we haven't had a 9/11 under him. I mean, Parkland might be the worst thing that's happened, the shooting at Parkland High School.
Yeah.
Other than that, it hasn't been the major catastrophes. And I'll tell you what, if it happened, two things would be guaranteed to happen. First off, everybody that opposes him would fucking blame him for it. But second off, everybody would look to him for how we're going to fucking handle the situation.
I think that's why you won't see that while he's in office, because I'm pretty sure that those countries that do attack, or whatever they decided to do, that they would realize, because people were really saying when George Bush was at that time that they were so glad that he was, because he was a good old Texas boy.
Yeah.
That, you know,
gonna whoop some ass.
Gonna whoop some fucking ass. And I think that people realize that Trump would probably go to, crank it up to 10 or 11.
He's going to go the distance on it.
Yeah.
He's going to make sure that shit's shut down. So we would love to hear your opinions. I don't care. You can send me a 10,000 word monologue and I will fucking read it about why I'm wrong. We're trying to open conversations at the same time here. We are not saying that this man is an infallible saint. Infallible saint.
Whatever.
He's not perfect. He's a human being just like we all are. But he is our president. And he's a president that's of our people, for our people. And I think that trying to fucking change that is ridiculous.
And he's your president.
He is. For the next year and a half.
God, did that piss me off? Not my president. Fuck you.
There's nothing better though than
Get the fuck out.
Is there any... I mean, I know that you should be humble in victory. But there are moments that you can't help but be like, that's pretty fucking funny. All of the pictures that are like, spoiler alert, Hillary wins. Woo.
The other thing is, I'm just going to go back real quick. So I voted for Barack Obama the first time, not the second time. For me, at his second term, I was like, this is not going well.
Sure.
In my own mind, not that I'm some fucking Rain Man genius.
Yeah.
But looking back, I'm like, I think you're right. I think, show me what this guy has done wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the one thing to finish on the political end is I cannot wait to see Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders go at it with a rusty spoon. Because for whatever you think that this has been ugly between the Republicans and the Democrats, that Democratic primary next year is going to be popcorn-worthy fucking TV. I can't wait to see the shit that people uncover. Bernie's going to call him a raper at some point. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, we'll touch on that part later.
All right.
So we're moving on.
To the hop.
So
you go first.
I've been talking for like 25 minutes straight.
You're right. They want to hear me talk.
They're missing you.
So this is going to be kind of funny. And it's a little bit political, but not really. But my fucking hop for today is Amber Alerts.
I'm just going to tell you to tread lightly, brother.
No, okay, it's not the Amber Alert itself. I find Amber Alerts very, I'm going to say, helpful to the people that
They are.
to the people that are looking for their loved ones. That's not the point. The point I'm getting into is the city, the state, whoever's setting these off, they just have access to everybody's phone. If your phone's on silent, all of a sudden it's at max volume. Bleep, 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 bleep. That's the part that I have a problem with. That so many people, or these organizations, our city, our government, or whatever, I believe if they can send an Amber Alert to your phone, they can probably do a little bit more than they want to be able to do to your phone.
Yeah, I don't know though, man. I feel like at the same time, if I'm sitting in a meeting and they're like, "We are searching for
No.
Adam,
Okay,
5'10",
okay.
sandy blonde hair."
I'm talking about the technology of the Amber Alert, not the Amber Alert itself.
But why can you be? I mean, I think that having a way of messaging everybody at one time.
Once again, you're missing my point.
I am. I'm trying to understand it.
The technology that they can access all of our phones at once to do whatever the fuck they wanted to. I'm just going to tell you what, if they can push out an Amber Alert to everybody's fucking phone, they can look through your little fucking mirror or
No.
camera.
You're an IT guy.
Yeah.
Right. Is there any part of you that doesn't think that this was possible from the very first fucking day of cellular phones? You don't think before our government okayed the sale of cellular phones that they were like, we got to make sure we can get in. Sweet, we can get in.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead and sell.
The first time I heard the Amber Alert go off, I was like, holy shit, this is great. And then I'm like, maybe not.
Well, I've never been affected by one. The only one that I can ever say I've been affected by, even a smidgen, was, I don't know if you remember, I shouldn't use the word hilarious, but it's fucking funny, was when they were like, Hawaii just got bombed. Do you remember that a couple years ago? Yeah, there was this huge alert that went out to everybody. It was like, Hawaii just got bombed.
No. What they said was there's an attack on the way, something like that, from North Korea.
Yeah.
And it went off on all the phones. People were fucking freaking out.
Right, leaving work.
You know, there was people doing all kinds of crazy shit because they thought they were going to die. Yeah. But still, it's not the Amber Alert. I don't want you to get this confused. It's the technology that scares me that they can just get into our shit and do stuff.
Yeah.
All at one time.
But anybody can. Have you ever seen, if anybody gets a chance, go online and look up the, I don't remember the exact name. There's an expo that they have in Vegas every year that's basically a whole bunch of fucking hackers come together and then they work on both sides of the aisle. You wouldn't believe the shit that they fucking do on stage. I mean, you want to watch some videos that will creep you out to where somebody's sitting there and they're like, "What's your mom's phone number?" And they fucking give them their mom's phone number. Next thing you know, they're looking through the video camera on your mom's phone over in Des Moines, Iowa. Like, it's real, man. If you don't think it's real, you're not paying attention.
It just, it scares me. I don't like it.
Then get rid of your phone.
No, I'm just going to get some black tape. And every
Fair
time I want to do a selfie, I'll be like, hold on a second.
All right. Can I go a little ham here?
Yeah.
All right. This weekend that just passed was Memorial Day weekend. I don't know if you know this, but Memorial Day weekend every year.
It just passed?
See, I did the math for you because this ain't coming out till next Friday, Holmes.
Fuck, why does this guy have to think so much?
I can't help it. It's what I do. So anyway, Memorial Day just passed, and Cedar Point.
But not actually.
What? Not actually what?
When they're listening to this, it will have, but not now. It has not.
Right. We're talking to you from the future.
We're time traveling.
Wish granted, motherfucker. There you go. If anybody that listened to our last show, you'll get that. That's fucking funny right there. But anyway, this weekend, Cedar Point offers active or retired military the opportunity to get into the park for free for the weekend. And I think that's great. And it's about time they do something fucking right because they've been doing something wrong for a long fucking time.
What, like charging an arm and a leg?
I'll give.
And a few toes?
I'll give an arm and a leg if I have to. I mean, I think that we all wait till we find the deals or the buddies, uncles, cousins, company picnic or whatever to fucking go.
There are other deals, too, that I've seen that are sweet.
We're not advocating for them right now.
Okay.
I was giving them a small happy plug before I shit all over them, all right?
Yes!
So, in 2014, most people didn't realize this, but during the park's off-season, they went into a major renovation.
Major renovation.
They changed the seat sizes on their top 8 largest rides so that the average The average size person that these seats are built for. You want to take a guess at height and weight? Take a shot in the dark.
I'll say 6'2", 225.
No. The average height and weight is 5'10", 180 pounds.
That's what they changed it to?
That's what they have been changed to. Now, some of your rides, like the Raptor, they have just those size seats. There are a few other rides that have a few XL seats. If you can see me right now, you can see why I'm bitching. If not, go to YouTube, fast forward to this point in the show, you'll fucking get it. Basically, they're fucking fat shaming people. And don't get me wrong, everybody can do things the way they fucking want to in life and shit, but if I pay to take my fucking family up there for the day, if I want to run rides and shit, I should fucking be able to. And this is what I'm going to take it back to. There was a point, believe it or not, point in time in my life, I ran a half marathon. I could run a 5K in under 4 minutes. I fucking ran all the time. I was still 6'1", 220 pounds. I had 3 rides I couldn't fit on in one day. You want to have a moment? You want to have a fucking moment in your life? You stand in line for a fucking hour to get on a ride, and then the ride can't leave because you don't fit, and then you have to do that fucking walk of shame. So fuck you, Cedar Point. I don't give a fuck that you're worried because of fucking heart conditions and shit. Then you know what you should also fucking do? You should put a fucking age limit on the shit. Because if you're fucking over the age of 60, you're more prone to have a fucking stroke or a heart attack riding a big fucking roller coaster, right? But you can't fucking do that because it's fucking age discrimination, and there aren't any fucking laws against fucking fat discrimination. So, fuck you, Cedar Point. You can eat shit until you get your shit together and be there for fucking all of America.
Amen. You feel better?
I do. I told you I had a good harp tonight. Fuck those guys. America's roller coast.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, moving along. So, I think that we're going to get into another topic that I don't know that much about.
I don't either, but this is going to be fun.
Let's
Let's get some fun with this.
lead into it because you're the one who kind of brought this topic to the table, and I need
It's
to
just-
understand why. Do you know anybody?
No.
Well,
I
tell
just was-
the listeners at home what it is.
I was just thinking about this, and you know what? I'm going to claim some ignorance to it, but at the other side of it, I'm going to be like, why is this still happening? I think I have a good idea why it happens more, but it's homeschooling. And I have wrote down here, is this something along a cult-like activity? I just don't get it. I don't get why you want to pull your kids out of the general social population of schooling. I'm sure this had to have started with parents either not, one of two things. Parents that don't agree with what their kids are being taught, which
Wrong.
I highly doubt,
Not it.
or the bullying, and they're worried about their little babies having to deal with people.
Incorrect.
Okay.
One thing I can actually give you, you're more than welcome to Google home. Homeschooling actually started in Appalachia, the central eastern United States, because what was happening in the early 1900s,
Because they had to travel 1,000 miles to school.
boys were stopping school at 8th grade back then. Because from that point on, they were expected to work on the farms. Unless you were from a well-to-do family, then you were able to continue on
What
with
does
your
that
education.
have to do with the states?
So what they did was they said, okay, they ratified to where they can start homeschooling, to where your child can still work on your farm, but you also can put them through classes.
Great. We still don't do that here.
We don't do what here?
We don't make kids work like that.
Not anymore, no.
And skip school.
I'm just telling you where it started, man.
Okay, that's still in today, 2019. That's
Okay.
where we're at. Had to figure that out for a second.
Yeah.
Why is this a thing?
So let me ask this question. You know who Dirk Nowitzki is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he came over here at the age of 19, played basketball for the Dallas Mavericks, my all-time favorite player, by the way. Came from a club team over in Europe. The club had 10 people on the team. At all times in practice, all 10 players had a ball in their hand. Do you think it's a mistake that he was the first 7-footer to come into the NBA and be able to take people off the dribble, to bring the ball up court dribbling? Because he's been handling a ball for forever. And why? Because he had spent so much time with the ball. So at some point, is there a benefit to having that 1-on-1 or that 1-on-3 ratio of a teacher to students instead of 1-30?
I don't know.
Well, I'm asking.
I'm going to look here. I mean, let me look at what I've got here. I just feel like you are snuffing out their capabilities socially. At some point, mom and dad, these kids are going to have to go out into the world.
Sure.
They're going to have to go out into the world.
Yeah.
And how are you preparing them for that?
I don't disagree. That's why I have a whole bunch of pros and cons, because this is a very middle of the road topic. I'm not exactly sure how to feel about this.
I mean, you definitely would have zero complaints about what your kids are learning.
I have not done the research. Are parents that homeschool, do they have to pass an aptitude test?
I believe so.
Okay, so you have to prove
Yeah.
that you're able to teach.
I mean, I don't
things.
know. I don't know so much about this. Maybe, and this is where you guys in the comments, in the feedback, you can come back and smack me in the face with it. I don't care.
Sure.
If you're a homeschooling parent, I'm sure you're doing a great job. I'm just saying, overall, social skills are going right out the window.
Sure.
I mean, my kids, when they're at home together, they like to do nothing but fucking bicker.
Sure.
So I can't imagine never leaving the fucking house
Right.
with your brother and sister. Maybe you're better parents than I am, and you can stifle them a little bit. I don't know. But I just feel like they're missing a lot. And I'm going to tell you what. My kids got a middle schooler and an elementary schooler, and they get picked on. They come home and tell us our problems. Guess what we do? We tell them how to deal with them as best we can.
Right.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's called fucking life.
Yeah.
My point is, I think they need that.
I don't disagree. One of the things, let me ask you what you think about this. Do you think that it would be more difficult for a homeschooled child to be an effective leader?
I have no idea.
I mean, to me, it seems rational that would be the case, because you don't find yourself in the playground arena, like you kind of keep alluding to,
Right.
with other kids, and kids form different social groups. And even inside that social group, whether it's politically correct or not, there ends up becoming a social hierarchy. That's not me. That's fucking science. All right.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, if somebody is used to having all this attention all the time, how well do they adapt to that? Can they be a leader? Can they lead large groups of people?
I don't know.
If they haven't dealt with it. I don't know.
I'm going to tell you something that
I'm
do
just
know.
kind of asking some pros and cons.
I do know something. Now, there is a girl that went to school with my daughter, and now God bless this mom and dad. They actually adopted a lot of kids.
Sure.
And they went to other countries, and they adopted kids that actually had problems, physical problems, and they actually took them and paid for all their shit to get them on the straight and narrow. Probably saved their lives in most cases, because some of these were like third world countries.
Yeah.
But some of these kids were still getting ridiculed at school for whatever, maybe
Sure.
features, whatever. And I'm pretty sure the mom decided to homeschool them because of that. Now, I'm not disagreeing with keeping a kid's spirit up high,
Sure.
but at the same time, I don't think that's the way to deal with it.
I don't disagree. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that a homeschool child that lives in your town should be allowed to participate in school clubs, sports teams, things of that nature?
I mean, I think they should, only because they fucking need it.
Are you fucking kidding me? So let me get this right. Think about this. If you played against homeschool prep, okay?
Oh, you mean so?
No. I'm just saying. Period. Let's say that the best four athletes at a given school are all homeschooled. So on Fridays, I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to school, go through my school day, all the bullshit that goes with the school day, mental stress, everything else that goes with it. Oh, we have a flexible schedule as homeschoolers. So Friday, you're allowed to sleep until 11. When you wake up, we make sure you're properly hydrated. You get a solid rub down, make sure you're good and stretched out, and that you're 1,000% ready for the game. Is that fucking fair?
I don't think they would be allowed to play for the school anyways. I think you have to be alumni.
Wrong.
Really?
Wrong.
Holy shit.
If you live in a district, you're allowed to participate in fucking anything.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, but it's going to, people are going to call me a hypocrite because I'm saying, well, you need to be out there so they can be social. So at that part, I'm like, yeah, they should be involved.
Yeah.
But you're right. They don't have the same stresses.
They don't. The other thing that they don't have is
dickhead fucking teachers. My kid's been through that.
Dude, one of the things that I have, learning to deal with different types of authority. we've both had great bosses.
Right.
We
And
both
I have
had
this-
terrible fucking
I have
bosses.
this wrote down. Not everyone is as caring and kind like Mom.
Right. It's so true. I've had teachers that were like, read these 3 chapters. There's a test tomorrow. Guess what? It's not fucking multiple choice. It's fill in the fucking blank. Read your shit. Guess what you have to do that night? It doesn't matter that you had to work. It didn't matter that your mom and dad had a list of chores for you to do when you get home. It didn't matter that you broke up with your boyfriend that day at school. You have to get your shit done because that's part of the expectation of society.
I just don't get it. I mean, I understand. Okay, now there may be some special cases that I haven't thought this through yet. And you know what? Like I've always said, if you've listened to this show at all, not everything should be cut and dried for everyone. There may be some fucking good reasons that kids need homeschooled. Of course there are.
Sure there are.
But
along with the ability to be homeschooled and all of the positives that go with it, there are things that you should have to lose out on. Like, you can't fucking have it both ways. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I was in this situation and I could handle every bit of this myself, if I, independently wealthy, didn't have to do anything, you know what I would do? I would homeschool my kid on the weekends for a couple hours. I'd make sure that it's year-round so that it's no big deal. We'll get him through. He'll pass his shit. We're going to spend 8 hours a day on fucking whatever sport we choose. We're going to play 36 holes of golf every fucking day for 10 years so that when he's 19, he can go to the fucking PGA Tour.
boom.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
like those kind of things to where I get that everybody can do it, but I don't think that it's fair from a school participation standpoint.
I hear you.
The flexible schedule's nice.
But wouldn't we all like to work from home? I mean, it's essentially the same thing.
I mean, wouldn't we all like to be able to fucking learn whenever was convenient for us?
But
Some people
I'm
aren't
serious.
morning people.
But I'm serious though. Homeschooling to me is like working from home.
Right.
Might be able to sleep in a little bit. Boss
Right.
won't really know. I'm gonna answer this email real quick. Okay, I'm good.
Right.
Whatever. I mean, not that people that work home do that, but I'm sure there's
Sure.
a few that stretch it here or there.
I'm sure there's people that work remotely that do that.
Right.
But I've got a daughter that she is not ever going to be characterized as a morning person, but she still has to get up. Her first period of the day is a super thinking class. It's not art, it's actually
Right.
it's a regular
It's not gym
It's
class.
a regular hardcore curriculum class, and that's what you have to deal with. So the one part that I do like about it, though, is the fact that I believe that. Well, it's not that I believe. I know that they can actually incorporate religion into their teachings. I think that that's kind of a good thing if you want that to be part of.
Well, that was
curriculum.
my first statement. Was you're gonna have zero complaints about what your kid has learned.
But that doesn't mean it's a cult. Look, I went to a school. I'm old enough. I don't know if you ever had this. I'm old enough that when I was in my young, we'll call it pre-middle school, like 5th grade through 8th grade, and even back as early as 3rd grade, we had religious ed. It was optional. You didn't have to go, but if you wanted to go to religious ed once a week, you could.
Okay, I'm not saying it's a cult, but I'm saying because you can teach your kid. Okay, they still have to pass these equivalency tests.
Sure they do.
But outside of that, you can teach your kid whatever the fuck you want. You can't?
No, not and get what you need to. I mean, and these kids have outstanding ACT scores. They have higher ACT scores on average than public school kids do, or than private school kids do.
And why do you think that is? They're not. The boys aren't chasing the pootie around, and the girls aren't chasing the wang. I mean,
Well, let's hope not. That'd be an oddball situation.
I'm just saying.
Well, I believe you. I'm just saying.
If we were both homeschooled, you'd be focused a lot more because you'd be sitting there with mom and not staring at,
Yeah, but the minute that I got in the world, I'd be like, whoa!
Holy shit!
Whoa!
Did you see her? Woo!
So
I don't know what to do with myself. I've been in the cage my whole life.
like you said, it's not for everybody. I just think that there needs to be a few rules that kind of fucking go with it as far as what is expected of you. If you want to play for a summer team or a club team or something like that in sports, knock yourself out. I don't feel like you should be able to participate in the school sports.
That's right.
Extracurricular activities.
That's right.
Taking the spots of kids that are already in it, ingrained in it. Sorry.
Integrated, ingrained. All right, so let's get on to the gallows pole.
Gallows pole.
Yeah. You ready?
Go first. Show me the way, young
So-
grasshopper.
I saw this story today, and there was a video that went with it. And Julie Ann Raybird, 52, of somewhere out in California.
Yeah. What'd she do?
I mean, she didn't kill anybody, thank God. But because she could have killed quite a few, I think it's time to string her up. You might think this is a little harsh or not, but she was arrested after stealing an RV. I mean, this fucker was big.
Oh, dude, I saw this.
And she was leading police on a wild chase in California on Tuesday.
Yep.
Which would be like 2 weeks ago for this show.
10 days.
The 30-minute chase reached speeds of 60 miles an hour. And now this is a huge Winnebago type thing.
That's right. We are the Millers, motherfucker.
Yeah. And at one point, she did a U-turn, scraped the complete passenger side off. Well, the front portion, the front quarter.
Yeah.
Which was a huge 7 or 8 feet. It's wide open. It's leaning down.
Sure.
Busted the windshield out. She had 2 dogs with her. One of them said, "Fuck this lady." Hopped out when she slowed down. It broke its 2 legs, but it was okay.
Woo!
The other dog hopped up where it was. That one didn't jump out. But anyways, I'm watching this, and she hit 2 other cars, tore the complete front end off of one, and smashed into another one. I think almost either head on or she T-boned him. That was the end of the chase.
Yeah.
Could have killed 10, 12 people doing this.
She hits a fucking bus full of kids. What do you got?
I mean, what the fuck? Does she think she's going to escape? I mean, you're in a goddamn Winnebago. You're not in a fucking Porsche.
Right.
I'm not going to say drawn quarter.
I was going to say, but you're saying death.
Yes!
Like death.
Dude, what if she had killed somebody? Let's just say she did.
If she did kill somebody, then, yeah.
She has the mentality of a fucking retard. Sorry.
Don't be fucking sorry. Say what's on your fucking
I'm
mind.
fucking pissed. This is the kind of behavior that we're going to go. They're probably going to slap her on the wrist. Maybe she'll get a couple years.
Yeah.
Reckless op. Maybe she'll get probation for
I'm hoping this is going to be
18 months.
Maybe it will be a lifetime license ban.
Amen.
I'm hoping.
Hopefully not just to the motor park.
Yeah.
It pisses me off that we see these signs in people. She just told us she does not belong on the road and probably not in the general population. I'm sorry. If it comes back that she tested, she's all hopped up on drugs, I might recant. Maybe she gets...
Oh, fuck, that's worse, man. You get behind the wheel when you're fucking jacked up on drugs. That's worse.
Fucking draw. Let's just fucking put a rope around her neck.
Yep. Straight up gallows.
Yep.
I'm game for that. So you ready for mine?
Mm-hmm.
So there is nothing... I shouldn't say nothing. There are a few things in this world that can piss me off, like somebody taking advantage of a fucking horrible situation. There was a young lady. Her name was Taylor Creepo, and she was running the Cleveland Marathon this weekend, 26.2 miles. At the 25-mile mark, she collapsed. They took her to the hospital. They weren't able to revive her.
Oh, that's creepy.
22 years old. They're yet to discover exactly what happened. Like through the autopsy, they haven't been able to figure out anything. It's not like she had like a valve issue or anything like that. They're not sure. It was an unseasonably warm day with high humidity that day, which we don't usually get that kind of humidity here in Ohio until later into the summer. Anyway, super tragic, terrible thing for the family to deal with. They found 3 fucking GoFundMe accounts set up by fake ass motherfuckers. I don't know who you are. They're trying to figure out who you are. And I honestly believe that if you're going to do something like that, there is no fucking place in this world for you.
Boom. I have I'm just going to say it, a sister-in-law that we pretty much annexed from the family.
Cut some ties?
Yeah, cut some ties. She did this on behalf of her aunt when our uncle died. Her uncle died, my wife's uncle.
Yeah?
Didn't do it in her aunt's name. Did it in her name, and she's a shiesty one. And, of course, not $1 was given to it because I'm pretty sure that everybody in her surrounding circle was like, what? It's going to all go to you, dumbass.
The one of the 3, I think, was at one point in time before they shut it down was up to like $14,000. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So people like that, pieces of shit.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah, so I'll give you the gallows. I'm not going to draw and quarter you for that. It's a fucking terrible error on judgment. I don't know what happened in your life to lead you to the point that you're willing to fucking try to make money off of the tragic death of a fucking young woman. But either fucking way, I got no fucking use for you.
Boom.
We got time for one more, or are we peacing out?
No, let's do. This will be quick.
We'll make it quick.
We'll make it quick. So, you can all pat me on the back. Jake.
Woo!
Jake pushed me to the brink of watching Breaking Bad, which, I'm only like 5 years or 6 years late from the ending. But really great fucking. What would that be called?
It's a show, man.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, it's a weekly
Drama?
drama. It's a weekly drama.
A very good drama. Parts of it was difficult to watch because there was like stress. You're watching, you're like, God, this is like living through somebody else's stress. I don't need this stress. But overall, very fucking good show.
Amazing.
And I'm just gonna say it. I think when I was first watching this and they start doing they're cooking the meth, they're getting the meth dealt. I'm like, they're glamorizing it, but moral of the story,
it ain't glamour.
At the end of the day, you're probably gonna fucking either die or go to jail if you're selling meth. So,
yeah. I think that it's one of the greatest TV shows of all time. If you go back and if you've watched it, you can see where the show begins and where it ends and how everything kind of comes full circle. It's one of the first times that I feel like TV wasn't just bullshit. I feel like it's one of the most real shows. If you ended up in a situation where you had to provide for your family, you're a survival of the fittest type person. That's what they made his character out to be. They gave you both sides of it, though. Spoiler alert, that this what doesn't really give away any particular moment of the show.
Who cares by this time?
His wife's a fucking bitch.
Well,
you want to fucking choke her 88 there's like that 5-minute period where she's okay, but the rest of it, you just want to fucking choke her from the fucking beginning into the end. No, fuck her. She's fucking terrible. It's from the minute that she knows what's going on, she's a piece of shit.
Okay, it's the director. You got to remember that.
Fuck you, Ted.
The director, it's like an on again, on off again with his wife. She's great, she's bad. She's great, she's bad. But that's just how he wanted the character to be. Blah. Where was I gonna go? I think though there are some parts where you're like, wait a second. You're in a position now where you don't need to be a drug dealer. Why are you going to go back and do it? But obviously because they want to keep the show running and interesting. Otherwise the show would be over at that point. Yay, he's doing the car wash versus drug dealing. Now he doesn't need it. He could have.
You know how many people go to the grave without being the best at anything?
I know, but what
I'm just saying, if you find that one thing in this world that you're better than anybody at,
okay,
if you find no, if you find it on a planet of, by time we're 8 billion right now, between 7 and 8 billion people, if you find that thing that nobody can do better than you, you're just gonna walk away from it. Bullshit, dude. I'm calling bullshit. You're not gonna walk away from that. It's never gonna fucking happen.
With those kind of consequences, maybe.
Oh, yeah, the consequences of every time you go to work for 3 days, you make $2 million? Wow, fucking horrible consequences.
It was more like, yeah, I don't know what it was, but it was
whatever the math is, I'm just fucking saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there was a good chance, a good opportunity for him just to fucking walk.
Yeah.
And he'd been good. But no, it was a good show, great characters.
Would you give it a 5-star?
If I give it a 5-star, that means it can't go anywhere from there.
I mean, can you sit here and tell me that you've ever sat down and watched a series, multiple season series, from beginning to end that you would say have you seen one that you would say is better?
I can't say yes or no, but what I am going to say is there was parts of the show that, like, the first season is kind of parts of this. I'm going to say half of the first season, a little bit hard to even get started. It's kind of slow, and you're like, after a while, you're like, man, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. But then the second and third, it really starts moving, and you're like, yes, thank God for Netflix. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have watched it if I had started with the first episode live.
A lot of people didn't.
But
a lot of people weren't early.
Right. So I'll give it a 4.5.
Last thing that I'll give it that puts it in rarefied air, and we were talking about this on one of our previous shows. How many shows have spin-offs that are totally fucking kick-ass?
Which I just started.
Have you started it?
Yes!
Yes! I haven't heard this yet. Fuck yes!
Like 6 episodes in.
God, by the time this airs, you might be done. Fuck yes. Better Call Saul. If you haven't seen it, watch Breaking Bad and then start it. There's certain things that we're going to plug on this show a million fucking times. Those are 2 of those
I'm going to just tell you where I'm at. So, Mike You know Mike.
Mike is
the hard ass.
Mike's a badass.
Just found out how his son died.
Oh,
So that's where we're at.
Okay.
And it's getting good because the ex-wife, or no, I shouldn't say the ex-wife, the widow is just kind of finding out what the hell happened.
Oh.
And the
buckle up your seatbelt. It moves a little bit faster
and
than Breaking Bad.
I'm not going to ruin anything, but the line was, the wife. He's talking with the wife about what went down.
Yeah.
So there was 2 bad cops. They killed his son, and obviously Mike's the badass. So what is he going to do? We all know what Mike's going to do.
Yeah.
So the lady, the widow says, "So what happened?" She goes, or he says, "You know what happened." And then he finishes this show with, it just something like, "Can you deal with it? Or can you live with it? You know what happened. Can you live with it?" And then it went, and we haven't watched any more since.
Oh, shit. You're in for a ride.
Yeah, good shit.
So can you actually do me a favor? Can you click on our buddy Jimmy McGill real quick?
Yeah.
Can you?
Let me get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
Hey, let's turn it up just a little bit.
A little bit more?
Here we go.
Let me get down to brass tacks.
There it is. That's Jimmy McGill, Better Call Saul, lawyer in Breaking Bad. Check him out. That's what we got for tonight, right?
Si, senor.
Such a good show. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to
Hey,
say.
let's pat ourselves on the back here.
Hey, I'm saying it's a good show because I feel better. Sometimes you got to get it off your chest.
This is therapy. Like we've said before, go out and start a fucking podcast. Everybody's fucking doing it.
That's
you,
right.
You talk about shit, get shit off your chest. And you know what? If you don't want to, start up a podcast, we got room for you in ours.
Hey, I just want to say to all of our friends out there, my name's Jake, and I'm a podaholic.
Podaholic. I've kind of stepped out of the listening so much. I listen to some of our friendly, a little bits here and there, but
Oh, we'll get it.
I was a Rogan Knight for a while, but
I'll throw a shout out pretty soon.
last shout out, Endless Love, the Licorice song. Here we are.
Pip pip.
Cheerio.